Our second speaker for the day would be Professor Dr. R.K. Gupta, Professor at GIBS. Professor R.K. Gupta, besides 7 years stint in academics, has 38 years of experience in business administration, marketing, technical services, export, etc. in polyester sector, textile industry at different position roles with leading organization in India. His 8 years stint with Urban Mills in operation management, he separated in 2015 as Vice President looking after marketing of polyester fiber in northern region. Widely traveled on business trips to West Europe, Egypt, Syria, Nepal, Malaysia, Singapore and Turkey. In his present assignment, he is engaged as a faculty with GIBS as a resource visiting faculty and to SIOM and other institutions. Professor Gupta has done his post-graduation in textile engineering from IIT Delhi, executive program from IIFT Delhi, and PhD in international trade from FMS, ML, Sukodia University, Udaipur, during his advised service period. He has published a number of research papers related to international trade in textiles and clothing. We welcome you, sir, too. Now I request our director, sir, Professor Dr. P.H. Jolly, to greet Professor R.K. Gupta with the sample. I would now like to request Dr. S.P. Sharma to proceed with the first session.
Thank you, Professor Vinaji, for nice introduction. Dr. P.M. Jolly, Director, Economist Institute, Professor R.K. Gupta ji, and dear students, very good morning to all of you. So, today's session, Future Growth via Exports. This is very important subject which is chosen by Gupta Institute and very timely also, because now every country, every economy is trying to push their growth trajectory of exports in the international market to become more and more competitive and to create manufacturing efficiencies in their respective domains. So we will discuss all the developments happened during the last many years, starting from the independence of India, and the recent developments like trade war between USA and China, then COVID, then Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now the emerging opportunities going forward. So I would like to start from the independence era of the Indian economy. Like we started our economy to perform better since the day of our independence. And structurally, we started our policy environment from 1951. But we were very closed in the first 40 years. India was called a closed economy. and we were not able to increase our income levels because we were very, very conservative, and we were not opening up the minds. So that's why we were called the backward economy, and took around 40 years to double India's income. Means to double 100 rupees to 200, it took around 40 years, from 1951 to 1981. That was the fate of Indian economy, that we were closed, we were not opening up, we were not sharpening our minds, we were working on the incubator of growth, and we were very slow. In 1960s, 1970s, the growth rate was only 1.2% or 2% or 3%. The average growth was 2.5 or 3% for many years. But the government tried to enhance the growth rate through various reforms, such as first revolutionary reform was Green Revolution of 1970s. But that was not that much lucrative for the global markets. That was only to set up the farmers' tone in the agriculture sector so that they are able to produce and fulfill the domestic demand. So we were slow in 1960s. Then after the revolution, Green Revolution, the growth was a little bit boosted. That we were in the steady trajectory, like 3-4% growth rate in late 1970s and 80s.
Non-availability of trained technical manpower. I was a student of this institute when I was doing textile engineering, and there used to be waiting list 1, 2, 3, 4, and any chance milega. And can you imagine, out of 160, there were only 29 seats fulfilled till 30th of November. And 30th of November was last counting day. I am not sure how many seats. Then there is only one prestigious, I would call this as a tier 2 institution, and IIT a tier 1 institution, where I was a student in post-graduation. Last 42 years, not even a single soul has entered into textile industry. The technical textiles requires very precise, especially again I remember one joke of Bhaskarji, which I would like to quote you. He used to say, तो एक पॉलिटिशियन के 3 बच्चे थे, तो उसने उनसे पूछा कि इन बच्चों का क्या आप करना चाहिए। तो उसने बोला, ये जो पहला वाला है ये तो बिल्कुल बेकार के काम करता है, which he should not do, and he is fit for political line. And the second one is very precise. He measures things in millimeter and micromillimeter and will not make many mistakes. So he is fit for mechanical engineering type of, where the procedure is very important. And he says, the third one, he doesn't know procedure. If you tell him circle, he will do ellipse. If you tell him square, he will do rectangle. So he says, he is fit for textile industry because वहाँ पर कोई procedure चाहिए. And I think our industry has been operating, I have been a part of this, precisely with this kind of, mindset. And therefore, our level of uniformity, level of quality required has not been up to the mark. Of course, in the later last 10-15 years, a lot of changes have come. So, if the technical manpower is not there, particularly from leading institutions like IIT and all that, and again it is not there because industry has no capacity to pay. So, it's a question, if it should come first, whether salary should be increased, first industry cannot increase it because, they are not able to afford that kind of pay. So not even a single fellow in the last 44 years, you can check up, have joined from Department of Textile. Only IIT Delhi has got the branch of textile. So one day I was talking to my professor. I said, why don't we put the proposal to Government of India to close the Department of Textile? So he said, yes. We wanted to put up the proposal, but we could not succeed because the government argument is one. If we close Department of Textile in IIT Delhi, that will send a wrong signal to the country. In UK and all, a lot of famous textile universities were there, they all are closed now. And as per IIT, charter or whatever the regulation they have, a department cannot be closed without permission. A center can be closed. So either whatever the students are coming with the IIT tech, they take the admission, and finally they venture into MBA, they go abroad, and they have more interest in this textiles. Then the apparel pipeline. Can you imagine the cloth which you buy today? The planning for that was made almost more than a year ago. It takes, if you have to make the textile production means up to the fabric. It takes 21 weeks time. Converting to apparel, including design, logistic time and all that, it takes 24 weeks time. And taking it to client takes another 19 weeks time. So average time is 66 weeks from the day you get your fiber till the apparel is made. Then we have a lot of logistic deficits. We have labor issues. And जब वो कपड़े खरीदने का टाइम होता है, चाहे वो क्रिसमस का हो, चाहे वो दिवाली का हो, तो उस समय आपको कपड़ा लेना है तो लेना है, तो उसके बाद में फिर वो 50%, 60% रिबेट में चला जाता है. So pipeline inventory management and if logistic issues and all that they can be sorted out. Recently, there was a lot of container shortage. The material was not going because of container shortage. Port issues are there. Port logistic issues are there. And they are adding further to this cycle beyond 66 weeks. Now, what are the government initiatives? 2 flagship schemes the Government of India Ministry of Textiles has announced. One, Sharma has already mentioned, production linked incentive scheme, focused at encouraging large scale projects in man-made and technical textile segments. The second is Pradhan Mantri Mega Integrated Textile Region and Apparel Park, with an aim to support establishment of 7 world-class mega textile parks. Here, when we talk about Vardhaman Textile, now there is no large player into fabric manufacturing and all that. If you go to countries like China and all that, there are 50 companies like that. In fact, bigger than that. Then, the other point which government did, they extended the scheme of rebate of state and central taxes and various levies up to March 2024, and therefore allowing garment exporters to continue getting rebate on central and state taxes on their outward shipment. Now, trade deals. Again, in the previous presentation, he mentioned about free trade talks and all that. Free trade means the duty will be at considerably lower level. So, Australia is the largest apparel importer. I showed you around 28 kg in the southern hemisphere. And Indian apparel, they used to face an average tariff 4.8% Australia against zero duty for apparel from China and Bangladesh. Now, with this country, India is also having the same advantage. So far, India has a 3.2% share in Australia's total import, and as per industry estimates, this can almost triple exports to Australia. Then he mentioned about comprehensive economic partnership agreement. This is the UAE is also going to be a milestone for Indian apparel export. India currently supplies 1.5 billion of apparel in its total import of 3.5 billion, and thus they contribute a decent share of 43%. This trade pact will result into a reduction of 5% duty, and therefore our apparel export to this region can also become competitive. And more being discussed. More and more being discussed means with more and more countries. Now, the per capita consumption has got a relation with with the GDP. Look here, I was showing the figure in the slide. The US consumption around 38, 39 kg per capita. And where is India? So as the per capita earning goes up, the consumption of textiles also goes up. So these three scenarios were there, 2000, 2008 and 2016. So how India is moving as the per capita. Now, again you remember one of the sentences which he used. It takes about 10 years and 17 years to double, nominal income and therefore in the same proportion, the consumption also goes up. It does not remain steady at the same level. But if you compare the figure of 2008 to 16, then in 2022 it would have not jumped many times. It would have been jumped by a couple of 1 kg or less than even 1 kg. Now, very important, in this apparel trade, the Asian countries will lead the growth. The reason being, if we divide the country into Africa, America, Asia, CEC countries, CIS countries, European Union and rest of the world, so 196 countries are considered to this. This is the gross GNI per capita. This is the per capita consumption. This is the percent of world population residing there. This is the percent of clothing consumption which is given there. Now, if you look at the trade deficit means what local population is going to consume and what surplus fiber is going to be available in different regions is given here. So it is only Asia which will be having a surplus of 18.7 million tons. Barring Asia, all the countries are having the deficit. So you will be able to export only provided you have the fiber-based surplus. Now this fiber-based surplus, India is very comfortably positioned and it's next to China. Now whether this opportunity India will be able to explore or not, that time will tell. But the growth has to come from China, India, Bangladesh and Vietnam. These are the Asian countries which will pave the way for growth in apparel trade. So to sum up, the combination of favorable global scenario and government support has made the Indian apparel exporter sentiments quite high. They have created the hopes for the next season that more orders will be there, and such a scenario was never seen in the previous decade, and everything was favorable for the industry. And this reflects in export figures also. The only apprehension the industry has is regarding raw material security, on which a number of issues are being looked into. Industry is venturing into newer markets, newer segments, and India all out efforts in technical textile market, other than low-end and normal growth in apparel, and other segments can provide significant window of growth to this industry in global trade. India has a rich textile heritage of centuries old with thousands of firms and skilled craftsmen. Joint efforts from the industry and government would make us a significant player in the apparel trade. This industry engages about 50 million people. The change will benefit everyone associated with my country. And thank you for your patience listening. Okay.
Any questions, please?
So I'll be very happy to answer any question which you have.
Yes, guys. You're free to ask any question.
So what does CAGR stands for?
Give the answer. Compounded annual growth rate. Asking questions, attending this kind of events will make you, what is the answer of 2 into 2? Can you tell me? 2 into 2, what is the figure you will get? कितना आएगा? 4. Can there be any other answer? 4 के अलावा? चलो मैं आपको 2 आंसर बताता हूँ, आप अपने लैपटॉप में कैलकुलेट कर लेना. 2 into 2 can be how much? 2. And 2 into 2 can also become 6. How I tell you? आपने एक्सेल शीट खोलना, उसमें टाइप 2 into 2, you will get the answer 4. Then you type 1.5 into 1.5, you will get answer 2.25. And then you round up all the figures, so what you will get? 2 into 2 equal to 2. And then you type 2.4 into 2.4, this will give you answer 5.76. Correct? Then you round up the figure, again you will get 2 into 2 equal to 6. So if you are really attending this kind of sessions, if you are going more into detail of the kind of presentations made and explained to you, it will make you 2 into 2 equal to 6. And if you don't do this, and if you remain a normal person, then you can be 2 into 2 equal to either 4 or 2 into 2 equal to 2. The presentation would have finished in 1 hour, 1.5 hour time.